Welcome into the BSN Rockies Weekly Breakdown presented by Davidson's Beer, Wine, and Spirits. At Davidson's Beer, Wine, and Spirits, selection and service are their specialty. Their highly trained staff is always available to answer all of your questions, and with over 60 stocked coolers, wines from around the world, and plenty of spirits, there's always something for everyone to enjoy. I'm Allie Monroy, and with me today is BSN Rockies beat writer Drew Creasman, and we are right outside of Coors Field. The Rockies are taking on the Diamondbacks today for the second game of their three-game series. Drew, what are a few things you'll be watching for from Jon Gray pitching tonight?
Well, for those still just trying to win some baseball games, hoping the Rockies can get a couple of wins, it's going to be to go deep. Look, we've seen it over and over again. We saw it again yesterday. You can get through the first couple of innings well, but if you're out of there before the seventh or eighth, who knows what could happen. And so I think his goal, and really this has been his goal for most of this year, pitch deeper into the game. Can he get into the seventh or eighth and then just hand the ball to Scott Oberg, the one guy out there in the bullpen you really don't have to worry about right now?
Well, for Rockies fans at this moment in the season, what are a few things to be hopeful for?
Well, there's not a lot, but there are some things worth looking for moving forward, especially with these young players. I think we continue to see the development of Peter Lambert. We saw some positive signs last night, but we also saw some reminders that he's still 22 years old, and that goes on down the line. You want to see more out of Raimel Tapia. Ryan McMahon has been a big story here in the second half as he becomes more and more comfortable as a Major League Baseball player. And then this pitching, it really is, a lot can happen in bullpens from year to year, whether you're changing guys out or not. But you really want to learn about your starting pitching before going into 2020. So as much as the individual outcomes of these games might not matter as much, like you mentioned, Jon Gray pitching well still does matter. Kyle Freeland getting it together, Germán Marquez finishing strong, and also Peter Lambert.
Well, the Rockies made some adjustments to their roster today. What do you think of those?
Yeah, sending out on a DFA Chris Iannetta, a longtime veteran, originally came up with the club, has played for a few others throughout his career, has had really a very impressive career. It may not quite be over yet. I think he'll probably get picked up by another team out there who could use a veteran catcher, but as we've seen, it's just not been that kind of season for the Rockies where they need that much more. He was owed about $4.2 million for next season, so that was going to be a club option, so the Rockies aren't going to have to pay that. This is the first step moving forward toward that future, and the guy they've called up is another person you can start to get excited about the future for. Dom Nunez has been in the Rockies system for a very long time. He's made himself into an excellent defensive catcher. He's got a lot to show what he can do, but he's got some power in that bat too. He's a great young man. Fans are going to get to know him and like him quite a bit, but it's also worth remembering the times going all the way back to the last time the Rockies were in the postseason. Chris Iannetta really is arguably the greatest catcher in the history of the Rockies franchise, and I think this was a smart thing to do to start taking those steps toward next year, but also I think fans should take the time to remember what he's meant to this organization.
Well, as always, be sure to follow all of our coverage on bsndenver.com. For Drew Creasman, I'm Allie Monroy, BSN Denver.